Hey, hello investors and future investors. Welcome to the channel. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you my investment gains for March. Now, for those of you guys that are new to the channel, or for those of you new investors out there, I'm just going to put this out there. You can still make money with options, whether the market is going up or if the market is going down like we're in right now. Welcome to Investment Gains. Let's jump right into it. Welcome back, investors and future investors. My name is Tim, and on this channel, I show you how I use my portfolio in order to make consistent income. For today's video, we're going to be going through my portfolio tracker, and I'm going to walk you through all the trades that I did for the month of March. I'm going to show you the strategies I use and also the stocks that I use in order for me to get the results that I will show you. Now, for those of you new to the channel, on this channel, we specialize in helping small accounts portfolio grow consistently over time by selling options. I'm what's known as an income option seller, meaning I sell options on a consistent basis in order to generate income. Now, before I get into this video, I want you guys to do me two favors. Favor number one, always make sure to do your own due diligence before investing. What might work for me may not work for you. And favor number two, always make sure to have an exit strategy before entering any option trade. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into the options tracker. Okay, so here we are for the month of March, and I'm going to give you all three periods of which I made income, and I'm also going to showcase my losses if there are any. So let's go ahead and start how we usually start, and we're going to do that by doing a quick recap on February. So the February returns were 2003, and that was because the gross returns was 22.98, and there was a loss of, I think, 195. Now, for you guys to see the entirety of February, just go ahead and look for the video that says monthly gains for February. So let's go ahead and start off with March. So a quick rundown of this option dashboard. The first category is going to be the date that I opened the contracts. The next category is going to be the date of the expiration. Now, the third category is very important. This is the day I close the options, not the day it expires. Most of the time, I close all my options, especially when they hit that 75% profitability or more. This right here is going to be the days to expiration. And as you can see, I lost track here. I just didn't have time to put that in. Next, we have a very important category, which is going to be the ticker symbol I'm trading. Now, as you guys can see here, RGTI, IonQ, Mara, AMD. Now, I usually trade the exact same symbols every single week, every single month. The only time I change is if I were to get a sign or I were to add something to my portfolio, which you're going to see a lot of that in this month of March. The next column is going to be action. The action is going to be the actual option strategy that I use. Now, for the month of March, you could see here that I did a lot of covered calls, even the PMCC, which is also a covered call. Now, next we have the strike price I chose. These down here are going to be all the strike prices. I'm going to walk through just about two of these options in its entirety, and the other ones we're just going to breeze through it. Now, right here, you're going to see this is the amount of contracts that I did. The next is going to be amount, the price I was filled. So the reason why this column is very important is because if you were to open an option contract and you choose a price, it does not mean that that price is going to be executed. Sometimes we have to do it a couple of times. Sometimes you may have to reduce your price in order for it to get that filled. Here is the price I paid in order to get out of the trade. This here is going to be the options collateral. This here is one of my best test column, which is going to be your P&L, and this tells you how much I made net. This here is ROC or return on capital. And lastly, I just added this column right now because I'm going to need this right now. The market has declined so drastically that it's almost impossible not to sell covered calls below your cost basis. So come April, I'm going to have this all filled out. So this average cost column, what it does is that I'm going to add all the premium I receive for the 3 months trading, January, February, March, and all those videos are available on the channel. I'm going to deduct it from the collateral, the amount of money I paid in order to get into the contracts, and then that's going to be my new average cost. What that's going to do is that it's going to give me a new average cost, and it's going to show me an average price where I could go ahead and sell options in order to be a bit more comfortable. Like I said, this is going to be all available come next period. So let's go ahead with the first one. So open date 4th of March, expiration date 14th of March. The actual close date was 10th of March. That ticker was RGTI. I did a cover call option strategy. I chose the strike price of 11. I sold 4 contracts and I received $14 per contract. It was closed here for $2 per contract. So the reason why this is 8 is going to be 2 multiplied by 4. My net P&L brought in $48, which equals to a 1.05% gain. So not bad. The reason why I like to show you guys this is that this stock is in the quantum computing realm. And although the stock has a such low price, it can still be used in order for it to generate some kind of income. You just need to be extremely careful with the stocks you choose in your portfolio because this one is extremely volatile. Below that, you're going to see IonQ. Once again, the exact same strategy. Below that, you're going to see Mara, which is in the crypto space. The exact same strategy. The income there is 52 and 52 each, respectively. Then we have AMD. Now, this 90 here shows you the price that I chose for my PMCC, which means I bought a LEAPS option at the $90 strike price that I'm going to use to go ahead and sell consistent covered calls. Now, I want you guys to follow this very closely. Now, I have videos about these and how I choose my strike prices. Now, if you guys notice, right, the strike prices I choose is extremely high. The reason why I choose them extremely high because this is a PMCC strategy, meaning I'm using a LEAPS option in order to generate income. The whole purpose of having a LEAPS option is in order for you to keep that LEAPS option in your portfolio as long as you can, in order for you to benefit from the stock appreciation, or what I love to call on this channel, investment gains. And the longer you keep the LEAPS option in your portfolio, the more consistent you could sell covered calls against it. Below that, you're going to see sound, then I have AI, then I have SG or Sweet Green. Now, very importantly, Sweet Green, I did have 200 shares. And what I realized is that the 200 shares cost me $5,022. So I went ahead and I exited that position because it didn't make much sense to me when I could go ahead and buy some LEAPS call and spend only $830 per LEAP. So I sold out my 200 shares and I was still able to get into 2 contracts for like about a third of the price. So whenever you trade options with a small account portfolio, these are some of the decisions that you're going to have to make for yourself. No one is going to be there to hold your hand. Next, we have MU or Micron, and that there again was another PMCC. So the total for the first period in March was a $542 gain. I exited SG, but that was for a gain, so there was no losses in that period. So let's go ahead to the second period. Okay, so here we are on the second period. And as you can see here, very important, it says no trade, no trade. Okay, so let me tell you why there was no trade, although I have these options in my portfolio. There was no trade because the market had declined so drastically that the amount of premium I was receiving when I sold cover calls, it just was not worth me selling cover calls. Hence, I prefer not to trade as opposed to losing my shares for a lot less than what I paid for it. Now, that is another option you guys have, no pun intended. You do not have to continuously keep trading and over trading. If the trade does not make sense, then just do not get into it. So that was pretty much the highlight of the second period. Once again, the exact same stocks, the exact same results, and then there was no losses. The total I did for the second period was $484. So for the first period, we have 542. Then we now have 484. Let's go ahead and get into the third period. Now also, I did not mention these columns right here, but they are very important. These columns are yours to put whatever you want to put in them. For me, I put average cost here, and here also a notes. So the notes just tell me whatever I want to put. So for instance, here, this just tells me I exited this option. Here it tells me I have a PMCC and the strike date I have is January 1st, 2026. So although the market is in a very serious decline and my portfolio is down like everyone else, I think my portfolio is probably down more than lots of people. Because I do lots of options, my portfolio is down more than 50%. But that does not stop me from making continuous income on a weekly basis. So let's go ahead and get into the third period. Oh, and also right here, whenever there's earnings, I always make sure I pay attention to that. During earnings, you do receive a lot higher premiums. However, you need to increase your chance of profitability because during earnings, that's a time of a lot of volatility. So there's a high likelihood of you being assigned. So once again, if this is the first time on my channel, I do have videos about all of these things, when to sell covered calls, when earnings are going to be placed, how do you find this information? It's all there. So feel free to go ahead and search the channel for that. So let's go ahead into the third period. Now the third period is extremely interesting. Once again, we have the exact same stocks, but right here, I roll this leaps option. And yes, you are allowed to roll leaps option. And once again, I do have videos about how to roll your leaps option. So the reason why I decided to roll this leaps option is that I needed some extra cash in order for me to get into another contract. So what I did is that I rolled this leaps option out as opposed to like, I think 42 days right here. I roll it out to some additional days, about 60 days. So now I have 123 days to expiration. Now, because I rolled out so far, I was able to collect 268 per contract, which netted me a total of 536. Now, at current, this is still open because we're nowhere close to this yet. So for that period, I did receive an income of 858 or 858. Now, before I show you the total that I did for March, I want to highlight something else. So as you guys know, the market is in a full decline mode, but that does not stop you from making income. I did mention this at the start of the video. Because the stock market is in constant decline, I saw a price that I like, so I took advantage and I added a new stock to my portfolio, which was Robinhood, ticker HOOD. The strategy I used to get this into my portfolio was a leaps option, but I do have a video about that as well. Once I got that leaps option into my portfolio, I went ahead right away and I started selling some covered calls in order to generate income. Now, this is why this third period ended up at 858. Now, the moment all you guys have been waiting for. There were no losses in March, and the reason why there were no losses is because the stock market declined so drastically that all the covered calls hit 75% profitability way sooner than the expiration date. Now, as you know, I sell options for a living. So, my personal preference and criteria, whenever my profitability on any of my options hit 75% or above, I close it off. I don't care what the market is doing. I don't care what anyone else is doing in their portfolio. That is just my rules and I stick to them. And so far, they have been working for me. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for the first period, I got an income of 542. For the second period, that income turned out to be 484 right here. And for the third period, that income was $858. A bit over inflated if you ask me, because I rolled out for so far for a huge income right here. Now, one thing I want to show you is that if you need extra money, instead of you withdrawing money from your accounts portfolio, feel free to go ahead and roll out the options and then you could withdraw that money. That money is free money to you. That way, your portfolio value does not reduce. Okay, and now for the big finale, the total that was made or the total that was lost for the month of March was 1,884. So for the month of April, although we're in a hard decline in the stock market, although my portfolio is down more than 50%, which is probably more than a lot of people, I was still able to generate consistent income of almost $2,000. So there you have it. This is how you make consistent income on a monthly basis, no matter what the stock market is doing. For those of you investors that are new to investment, stay the course, you will get your results. So if you have any questions about the stocks I use, about the strategies I use, or about the channel and making investment gains on a consistent basis to grow a small options portfolio, then go ahead and leave me a comment below. If you made it this far, that means you're a real investor and you're a real trader. As you know, we make short term gains by using long term option strategies. Now, go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, if there's anyone out there struggling to grow a small options portfolio, feel free to share this video with them. Maybe this can help them decide what option strategies they want to get into. Now, until the next video, keep pushing your investments.